This is Prep Riley, brought to you by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Yes, sir, it is championship week for spring sports as we wrap up the most interesting prep sports season in 100 years. Last August, this seemed almost an impossible thing with COVID-19 still wreaking havoc. In January, it still seemed unlikely we'd get here, but we made it. It took a lot of give and take, but we have made it. Now, what a terrific week of state tournament play last week in 4 spring sports. Fort Smith hosted the Class 6A state baseball tournament that concluded at historic Hunts Park. The Class 6A state softball tournament was played in Central Arkansas, and that concluded with 2 semifinal games on Saturday. While over in Springdale, they hosted the 6A boys and girls state soccer championships at Springdale High and Springdale Harbor. We had to deal with some weather issues on Saturday, but we capped a great weekend with a penalty kick thriller in the final match. And let's not forget that the 5A state soccer tournament was played in Siloam Springs with a terrific field of teams. Now let's start today's show by recapping the 6A state baseball tournament. The play got started on Thursday at both Forsgren Field and Hunts Park, and when the dust settled, well, actually there wasn't much dust at all because the games were played on a fully turf field, but the top 2 seeds from the 6A West were left standing. Springdale Harbor and Rogers High each won their sides of the bracket. In Saturday's first semifinal, Harbor pitchers Cooper Dossett and Ross Fielder combined on a no-hitter, and the Wildcats worked through a couple of pitching jams to claim a 3-0 shutout win over Bryant. Now, Dossett went 6 innings and struck out 10, and Fielder got the final 3 outs for the save. Now, that set the stage for a high-scoring second semifinal. The number 1 seed from the West, the Rogers Mounties, exploded for 8 runs over the first 5 innings, then held off North Little Rock for an 11-7 win and a spot in the Class 6A state championship game against Harbor at 7 o'clock Thursday in Benton. Now in Class 5A, Van Buren punched its ticket to the 5A state championship game. They beat Greenwood 6-2 behind a dominating pitching performance by senior Connor Johnson, who went the distance and struck out 13. The Class 6A state soccer tournament was a showcase for the top teams in the state, and the 6A West dominated on the girls' side at Harbor's Wildcat Stadium. The number 1 seed Fayetteville and number 4 seed Bentonville West each claimed their sides of the bracket to emerge winners on Saturday. The Lady Bulldogs routed North Little Rock 4-0 to punch their ticket to the 6A state final, while the surging Lady Wolverines claimed a 2-1 overtime win against Conway to secure the win on a golden goal by Bridget McSpadden late in the overtime period. Bentonville West coach Alex Castillo, who earned an even bigger win against COVID-19 this year himself, was emotional after Saturday's huge win.
Living. Yep. And for me, there was a 60% chance I'd never see him again. And I just, before the game, I told him I love you, and I'm proud of you, whatever happens. And they've worked so hard and work together as a team. They're more than a team. They're like sisters. And they just bought into everything that we've been trying to preach to them. They're like my kids.
Now, Fayetteville and West will battle for the 6A state championship at 10 o'clock Friday morning, also in Benton. Now, across town, the boys 6A tournament was played at Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium. Saturday morning's first semifinal was delayed by 2 hours by weather and lightning before Conway and Springdale Harbor could take the field. Conway's Jacob Chalk banged in a header in the 51st minute, and that was all the scoring the Wampus Cats needed in a 1-0 win. Now, the second semifinal saw 2 teams from the 6A West collide as defending state champion Springdale. Now, remember, Springdale was the state champion in 2019. There was no spring sports in 2020, so by default, they are still the defending state champion. They took on Rogers Heritage in a match that was hyped before it ever started, and it lived up to every bit of that fanfare. These 2 teams had already met twice this season, and both times the games ended in 1-1 ties, and that's exactly where we were Saturday, at the end of regulation, at the end of the first overtime, and at the end of the second overtime, so that took us into the penalty kick phase. So after the extra periods, the match came down to penalty kicks. Springdale's Eric Guerrero was the first to go for the Bulldogs, and he drilled a shot past the Heritage keeper. That brought up Edward Coronado for Heritage. Now, Coronado put a good kick on the ball, but Springdale keeper Cesar Rizzo made the save. That set the tone for the rest of the penalty kicks as Springdale went on 4 for 4 on penalty kicks, while Rizzo made another diving save to seal the win for the Red Dogs. Springdale coach DJ Beeler, who is not a huge fan of penalty kicks, he praised the play of his team.
Just an easy day, right?
Yeah, sure. That game went about how I expected it, honestly. We tied twice in the regular season, 1-1 both times. That was the score going into overtime, and we just got fortunate. We did good in penalties. Nobody likes going to penalties, but you have to end these games at some point. And I guess that's the best way we figured out how to do it.
Talk about the play of your goalie there in the penalty kick phase of it. I mean, two just huge blocks.
Yeah, he's just been fantastic. He's actually, he started the year as our number 2. We had a big injury to our starting goalkeeper that kind of knocked him out for the season, and he just stepped right in and didn't miss a beat. So he's been fantastic. You couldn't ask for more from him, and he did his job. Everybody's got a job to do, and he gave us a chance by making a couple saves, and that's what you need. You just need one, and he gave us 2.
Rizzo, speaking through a translator, said he was proud to help the Bulldogs return to the state championship match.
How proud do you feel to make those saves on the penalty kicks?
Me siento genial porque entre semana entreno duro y ahorita se cosechó el resultado, gracias a Dios. Que cada semana entrenamos duro.
Yeah. He trains really hard during the week, and now this has paid off, and he's really proud.
Did it take a little pressure off of you when you made the first save?
Cuando hiciste el primer save, te sentiste más calmo y como lo podías hacer después de eso porque no estabas tan nervioso.
Sí, la verdad es que sí, con la primera tajada me di más confianza en mí mismo y pude lograr hacer mi segunda y poder hacer ganar al equipo gracias al público también.
Yeah, making the first one definitely gave him more confidence for sure, and he was able to just go from there and make the second one. So, yeah.
How does it feel to lead Springdale Bulldogs back to the state championship?
¿Cómo se siente a llevar a los Bulldogs otra vez al campeón del estado de soccer?
Me siento muy orgulloso, la verdad es que pues puse de mi parte y podemos lograr este objetivo que era desde el inicio llegar hasta la final.
He's very proud that he did his part, and now they're going to be able to go to the final.
Now that sets up a Conway versus Springdale championship match for the 6A state championship at 4 o'clock on Friday in Benton. Now a host of other Northwest Arkansas teams will also play for state championships in the lower classifications. In Class 5A, the Van Buren boys rode the scoring of Pedro Rodriguez to advance to the title game on Saturday at noon against Russellville. The Harrison girls will take on Pulaski Academy at 2 o'clock Friday, and both the Green Forest boys and girls will take on both the Harding Academy boys and girls in the final 2 matches on Saturday. Now, Bentonville is the benchmark for success in softball, and the Lady Tigers don't shy away from that mantle. And for the 5th straight year, Kent Early squad will play for a state championship as the Lady Tigers rolled over Bryant 13-3 to win their semifinal game on Saturday down in Cabot. Now, while Bentonville is launching homers all over the park, Mackenzie Vaughn was dominating in the circle and at the plate. Vaughn led the Lady Tigers as she has all season, and she also smacked a home run, but she was joined in the home run parade by Emily Perry and Kenzie Derryberry. Those Lady Tigers know how to take that ball deep. Now, the Lady Tigers will take on Conway at 1 o'clock Friday for the state championship. Conway defeated Cabot 9-1 in the other semifinal on Saturday. Greenwood will also play for a state championship in Class 5A against Powerhouse Benton, and in Class 4A, Pea Ridge edged Farmington on a walk-off walk in the 7th inning and will play in the program's state first championship game. Now, this is the first one in program history against Morrilton at 4 o'clock on Thursday. And Mansfield, now they will also play for a state championship game for the first time. They will take on Tuckerman at 10 a.m. in the 2A state championship game. So congratulations to all the teams who are playing for state championships this weekend, and to all teams everywhere for being able to have a season in the most unusual of circumstances. The championship games will cap the school year. Now here's hoping when the fall sports roll around in August that we are closer to a normalcy with marching bands and volleyball spikes and all those other things the kids deserve.